In this video, we'll show you the difference between a route and a track on your Garmin MAP 62. Here we'll focus on tracks first, and then we'll flip over to talk about routes afterwards. Here's a situation here. We just did a hike at a national park, did a 10-kilometer hike, and we're just viewing the track file on our map screen. Now, a track is a breadcrumb trail that the device or the GPS takes to let you know where you've been. You can also use this information to retrace your steps. So in order to access the menu for this track, you just simply need to switch over to your main menu and need to go down to your track manager. From here, you might have more than one option. The current track is the track that we just saw. So let's hit on enter, and we can see the options that we have. Now we'll go over save track, we'll go over view maps, and maybe some other settings here. But we want to go under view map to make sure that we have the right track, and sure enough, there it is. Now we can hit menu button to see if we have any options here. We can review our track, resume navigation. So let's review our track, hit enter, and you can see the data of our track file. 10.4 kilometers, ascent 240 meters, descent 247, elevation, and so forth. Now you notice here I can hit quit to go back to our option. Now you can notice here we got our track back. So this is the scenario where we're doing some hiking, or if it's snowing, the snow is covering our tracks and we're not really following a trail, we're just bushwhacking, and it's getting kind of hard to know where we're going. There's no other trail marker to follow. We would use the trackback. So now let's say we like this track, we want to save this for another day. So we can always go back to our main menu, go down to track manager, our current track, and we want to save our track. Here we just give this a name. I'm just going to leave it with the date, just make it simpler, but you can put whatever descriptive name that you want. Hit done. After we saved our track, do we want to clear the current breadcrumb? And we would say yes, let's do that. So if we go back to our map, we see now that the track file is gone. So in order to, let's say we go back to our park and we want to hike the trails again, then we can just once again go back to our track manager right here, and we can see now that we have our track that we saved and we're ready to navigate. So that's with tracks. Let's flip over to the computer and take a look at routes. Alright, so what I've done here is I've hooked up my Garmin MAP 62, downloaded the track file from the GPS, loaded up in Basecamp, and I've edited the track file so that I get two segments. And I'll cover this in a future video, how to edit within Basecamp. But I got two track files right here. So this represents the two trails, and I took out essentially the access road that was in between the two, which I don't want. I just want to keep the trails. So now with that done, what I can do here is simply choose the path that I want. Let's say this one, and I want to make this as a route. So I simply go up to edit and create route from track, and it's going to create it. You have your properties window here. You can see all the details. But let's take a little closer look here. We'll zoom in a little bit, and you can see depending how much effort you want to put into your track file, you can see what happens to the route. So let me delete the actual track file. So we're left here with the purple. This is the actual route. And you can see it's because we didn't clean the track file so that we only have one way of the track file. You can see some of the difference with the accuracy with the GPS, where the route is not perfectly matched on top of each other. Now, if you're doing your track file, you can probably clean this up so that you have one segment, but I'll just leave it like that because the purpose of the route is just to help you follow along the trail. So, and that'll include some of the mistakes. So we have our route, and what we're going to do is we're going to send this back to the GPS. So what we want to do here is rename it and send it back. Alright, so what I've done here is rename our newly created route, called it Snake Lake Trail, and we transfer it back to the GPS. Here we are in our location on our GPS. We want to now navigate to the route, so imagine we're just arriving to the trail and we want to hike it. We want to use the route to make sure that we stay on track and that we can return. Well, then you just simply hold down your find button right here and scroll down to routes. Now we would probably do tracks if we were there, but we have it saved as a route, so it's there. Here's our Snake Lake Trail. There's our route. We can always hit menu to review the route, take a look at the details. 3.5 kilometers, pretty flat. We can hit go at this point to navigate, or hit go here, and there you go. Now we're navigating the route. And that's the difference between routes and tracks on your Garmin Map 62.